This is The Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral.com.
Good afternoon, Tuscaloosa, Internet World, West Alabama. How we doing today on this Monday? It is the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central, BamaCentral.com. You're hanging out with us on the Bama Central YouTube channel, or you're hanging out with us on your favorite podcast platforms, the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon. We appreciate you doing that so much as we turn the calendar into a brand new month. It is December, and we cannot wait to get you going right here on the Joe Gaither Show as the college football, Alabama's college football regular season has come to a conclusion, and that is where we will spend most of our time today, right here on Bama Central and BamaCentral.com. We're going to talk most of the time today about Alabama's 28-14 victory over the Auburn Tigers in the Iron Bowl. We'll talk about DeMarcus Riddick and his comments, the prophetic comments coming ironically not true back into his face. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about really the Alabama offense. Was it any better this past week? Was it just magical on third downs? You still had a lot of errors, four turnovers offensively for the Crimson Tide. The defense, Kane Womack right back in his bag. I know last week against Oklahoma, you struggled on the long drive to close the first half, but really had a good game. This past week again, every time Auburn into the red zone, nothing for time after time. Really a strong game for Kane Womack and the Alabama defense. We'll talk about that. And then after a while, we will dip into Alabama basketball. They lost the Players Era Festival final to Oregon, 83-81. Really, more importantly, the Crimson Tide looks to have lost one of its best players in the game for probably an extended period of time. And so we'll talk about all things Alabama basketball at the end of the show. But first, and before we do all that, let me introduce my friend and say hello to Mason Woods. Happy December. You can follow Mason Woods at MAWoods_ on the Twitter machine. Mason, good morning. How we doing today, sir?
Doing good. Had a good week. Got Thanksgiving last weekend. Got to watch a good football game on Saturday. Disappointing performance from the Bama basketball team, like you just mentioned, but we'll get into that. But overall, it was a good weekend.
Mason, we did a show Friday, and I thought, first thing, everybody knows I'm a Bears fan. We did the show Friday. Right as we were doing the show, the Bears were holding a press conference for Matt Eberflus doing his Thursday postgame after letting the timeout run out. And I thought, okay, well, we can go ahead and start the show because if he's doing the press conference, they're not firing him today. Then I go out, have some family time with my father, play some golf on the golf course, great time with my cousin and uncle, real good time. And we're like 5-6 holes in, and you're on the golf course, you're not looking at your phone, but 5-6 holes in, it started to get a little slow on the golf course, waiting on the group ahead of us. And so I'm looking, I reach down in the car and I pull my phone out, and it's just lit up. And I'm like, what in the? And it's just all my friends. It's happening, yada yada.
First time. 105 years?
I had a first sudden jolt of happiness, a first sudden jolt of thrill, and then it just a sickening feeling in my stomach about how horrible the process is of letting the coach talk to the media before, after the game, great, that's normal. But then the next day, for your normally scheduled next day press conference, if you're going to fire him at noon, don't let him talk to the press at 10.
I heard a theory about this, and I want to get your opinion.
No, you did?
Is that the theory is that the McCaskies, who we all know are maybe a bit more hands-off type of owners, not super involved with the day-to-day operations with the Bears. The theory that I heard is that the McCaskies basically told Ryan Poles and Kevin Warren, don't bother me on Thanksgiving. We'll deal with it Friday. So Kevin Warren, Ryan Poles had to wait until Friday to get the approval from the McCaskies to then fire him and all that. And that they couldn't get that done basically in time before they sent Matt Eberflus out there. This person. I heard this from someone who was just clamoring on the Bears organizational woes And that honestly kind of adds up for me. I could absolutely see the McCaskies just saying, it's Thanksgiving. I don't want to talk about football. Don't bother me.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just
maybe so. There we go. I thought I lost my camera for a second.
Yeah, mine's being weird too.
Maybe so. I think that I think even if that's the case, you just say, "Hey, man, you're not having a press conference today until we talk about this." Maybe we'll bump our press conference back to 3 if we after we have this meeting or something.
Who's your number one choice to replace him?
Oh, I don't care. They're gonna screw it up. Hey, whoever I say they're gonna screw it up. Sure, it's Ben Johnson. That's
Mike
the easy
Vrabel?
choice. Mike Vrabel seems like a decent choice, but they're all gonna screw it up. And
I saw the Ryan Day and a Bears poll.
Oh, don't do that. Do not do that. Do not. But I think that's probably not the worst choice after Ryan Day loses rivalry weekend again, and
he knew. You could see it in his face as soon as that game ended. He's standing on the sideline.
They're fighting.
He's just, and then you see him. What happened? He knew. He knew his job was
His linebacker pulls the flag away from the Michigan guy, planting the flag, and they're all getting mace sprayed, and like Sherrone Moore is in there like trying to pull his guys off, but Ryan Day is standing there like, "Oh, I'm a dull." Oh.
I saw one clip. Somebody, and shout out to this reporter who got down on the field and got this camera angle, and they were just filming over Ryan Day's back, over his shoulder, while Sawyer, the linebacker for Ohio State, is sitting there screaming, "They're not going to put that flag on the field. They're not going to do that to us for you." And Ryan Day's just sitting there, stone face, just. And meanwhile, his player is just absolutely losing it right.
What's with planting the flag on the field? What is that? What's with that?
I think Baker Mayfield started it when in that Ohio State game, however many years ago, was it 2018? I think.
Yeah, but like,
that was the first time I really remember it. And now it's just become, it went very viral then. So now every team wants to recreate it when they win their rivalry game. Go out there and get your viral moment. Which, that wasn't even a rivalry game at that time. Oklahoma, Ohio State. I think it was maybe a budding rivalry. I think they had maybe played in the playoff before that, but it wasn't like, it's not a historical rivalry or anything like that. Yeah, I think it's just same reason people are storming the fields way more than they ever were. Everybody wants to be viral. Everybody wants to have their moment. They want to be filmed and do something that goes on ESPN.
All right, so let's jump right into it with Alabama. What do you think about Xavier Brown at the end? Do you see it?
I did.
All right, 28-14, Alabama wins. They're Look, Auburn, the game's over.
Mm-hmm.
Still chunking the ball down the field. Okay, I guess I can respect it, but part of me is rolling my eyes. I'm on the sideline filming every play, and I'm just rolling my eyes like, let the clock die. Well, the clock end at like the 2-yard line or whatever, and Sabian Brown somehow gets the ball. I guess it's on the ground. He gets the ball and chunks it at an Auburn play. Like zeros on the clock. Everybody's starting to swarm onto the field. And Sabian just, hey, Greg Byrne. Hey, shout out Greg Byrne. You're the man. Absolutely. The man with great presence on the sidelines comes over and just kind of like shoos him back away. And so Alabama really avoided kind of a really big moment. But there's still some spice at the end. End. So what do you think of Xavier Brown saying, get out?
I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with it. Like you just said, it didn't really result in any big, massive altercations of any kind. They were able to keep everybody in check. Sure, if I had to sit there and tell him, like, all right, if you're looking at option A, don't throw the ball at the player. Option B, throw the ball at the player. Choose option A. But am I really that upset about it? No. It's a rivalry game. These are players that have waited all season to play against each other. I guarantee the guy that he threw that ball at was saying some choice words to him beforehand. So
can we start here then? Because we can talk to football. That's great. But all I'm seeing on Sunday is narratives about where we are in college football, what the society says. Alabama and Auburn was not exempt to it. That was a flare-up, but let's just talk about the flare-up in the game. Devontae Smith and was it Keandre Lambert-Smith? Yeah. I think that's who he was tangled up with, is on the sidelines. They're getting blocked. It's a screenplay. Okay, no big deal. Run-of-the-mill play, and Lambert-Smith is blocking him through the sidelines all the way to the
blindside block. The Michael Orr pushes him off the sideline.
And I'll be honest with you, I have no problem with the block, but they're tangled up on the sideline. And look, if there's anybody on this team, on the Alabama team, that I want on my side in a dark alley, it's probably Devontae Smith.
He's a dog.
Yes, that is.
He would have fought all 70 people on that sideline, all 100, however many people there are. He would have fought every one of them.
He's not the biggest. He's not your Tyler Booker. But like he's gonna bite and tear anything you want. He's the pit bull on this team and on the defense. He and Malachi make a great pair. Malachi getting into this mix as well. So. I'm rolling my eyes if you can't see me on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon. But you've got people talking about, the downfall of society. Planting the field. Planting the flag on the field. You've got showboating, me. Like, and you've got people in the Bama Central YouTube comments talking on Kalen DeBoer. You've lost the discipline on this team. I've never seen Alabama act so poor, blah, blah, blah. Are we over? Like, look, I know you and I are not quite old yet, but we're not young anymore. Is the discipline gone? Is it just rivalry weekend? Are we making too big of a deal of all of this?
Yes. Everyone is making way too big of a deal of all of this. This is rivalry week. This happens virtually every season in college football. This is not something new. Every year almost there is a scuffle in the Alabama-Auburn game. Every year almost there is a scuffle in the Ohio State-Michigan game. There is a scuffle in the NC State-North Carolina game. It happens. It is rivalry week. These teams hate each other. These schools hate each other. These fans hate each other. It is just part of college football. It is so ridiculous to ride out here on your high horse. Ooh, I'm better than all of these players for getting angry over this rivalry. Shut up. Get over yourself. Be real. Live in the real world with the rest of us. They're guys playing a game. They're going to get a little antsy sometimes and do something. It's not that big of a deal. If this was happening every week and we have guys getting kicked out week in, week out for fighting, sure, then you have a discipline issue. It's one game.
Yeah, I mean, even when the Devontae Smith incident, penalty.
Yeah, to even call that an incident is
ridiculous. Right. Penalty, I'm thinking to myself, well, whatever, that's run of the mill. Just kind of.
I would have probably reacted pretty similar if I was Devontae Smith. I mean, you shove me 7 yards out of bounds, I'm probably going to get up swinging.
Yeah, so really, really fun.
Ridiculous that Auburn did not get any call there on that. Absolutely insane. I mean, for the life of me, I cannot understand how that is not offsetting penalties. It didn't really have any effect on the outcome of the game, but just that was absurd.
Oh, my goodness. All right, so Alabama-Auburn. Let's get into the game. We're here with Mason Woods on the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central. We're live in the Derek Daniel Studios right off McFarland Boulevard. We appreciate Derek Daniel for sponsoring the program. Call Derek and his team 205-758-3391 for all your insurance needs. Home, life, auto insurance, renter's insurance, boat insurance. You're going to get a new trailer for Christmas. You need to insure it. Call Derek and his team today. Call at 205-758-3391. Call and see how much Derek can save you today. Mason, let's talk about the actual game here. 28-14. Look, Kalen DeBoer, you got it done. After last week's debacle in Norman, I was really thinking, oh boy, like you're getting people talking about, fire Coach DeBoer. And I'm thinking that's really ridiculous. But if you flip and lose this game, that may not be ridiculous. He didn't.
No.
All right. You avoid that. You avoid ultimate disaster. 28-14. 4 turnovers. Yeah. Great defense. What did you? I'm leaving the stadium at whatever time it was, 9 o'clock or so after our work was done, feeling meh, feeling about the team and the performance. What did you feel? What did you think?
Yeah, it was a weird game because obviously. The turnovers were pretty bad. 3 fumbles from Jalen Milroe and then 2 fumbles from Jalen Milroe, the one from Ryan Williams and the interception. So the pick was bad. Overthrow Jeremy Bernard across the middle. I think he was trying to find him. Just let it hang. Safety picks it off. Ryan Williams got to hang on to the ball. It's another bad turnover. And I remember one of the Milroe fumbles. I'm struggling to remember exactly what happened on the second one, but I know the first one. It's just another one. You just got to hang on to the ball. It's not really. There were no these weren't crazy tipped passes that got bounced around 4 or 5 times and landed in the defender's hands or something. This was just execution problems. And so, that's a problem. However, you still score 28 points. And if you clean up those turnovers, you probably score 45 points in this game. and you also keep Auburn from hitting 2 of the field goals they hit potentially. So, I don't know. My first thought, was kind of felt like Auburn maybe lost the game a little bit more than Alabama won it. But I do still think Alabama put up good performances. You take away, and I hate to play this game of, well, you take away one play, it's totally, but it's 3-4 plays for Alabama. Even if you take away 2 of those turnovers, Jalen Miller doesn't airmail one over the middle, and then he hangs on to the ball trying to get a few extra yards. I mean, Alabama probably has at least 7 more points on the board. Maybe Auburn doesn't have 3 extra points on the board. So I think I'm okay. It felt like Auburn did not do the things that they could have done to maybe win this game. I thought they had opportunities, and they didn't really take advantage of them at times. Peyton Thorne and Jarquez Hunter both had I think they averaged over 4 yards a carry. But then you asked Peyton Thorne to throw the ball 41 times. So that's kind of where I feel like maybe Auburn lost it more than Alabama won it. But I mean, also, I don't really have a lot bad to say about Alabama's performance defensively or offensively, other than those 4 turnovers. That is obviously atrocious. But outside of those plays, they didn't do a lot bad. I thought they had good balance between, getting the ball to Jam Miller, getting the ball in Jalen Miller's hands on the QB runs, getting the ball, working the ball to the tight ends even. Cuevas and Dupree both had, I think, 3 catches on the game, 3 or 4 each. Robbie Oots had a catch. So I don't know. I felt pretty good about the team, or the performance as a whole. It's just those turnovers were really bad.
All right, so the one you're missing, you've got the one where he slips through the line in the fourth quarter. He's holding the ball like a bread. All right, but he also Caden Proctor's feet in cinder blocks, and you got sacked, fumbled from behind, just hammered from behind.
Yeah, that's when God love him, Jalen Milroe. I don't know. He senses zero pressure back there. It's like there is someone screaming off the edge to bury you into the turf, and you have zero idea.
I wonder if Caden Proctor, look, I'm not on the field at this point, but I wonder if Caden Proctor, when he's getting beat like that, goes, "Oh, look out, look out."
I used to do that when I would get beat playing offensive line, because it happened a lot. That was pretty frequent. You turn, hey, watch out. Quarterback. You got to let your guy know. Hey. Miller has he just has a hard time sensing pressure back there sometimes. And that was a bad example of it. Yeah, I do remember it now. That was, did not even feel that at all.
Okay, so I got a message after the game. Jalen Milroe sucks. Jalen Milroe had a bad game. And you know me, I often like to play immediately. As soon as somebody tells me something, I immediately like to say it's the other thing. And I don't think he sucked. He didn't have a bad. I mean, look at this game. You're 18 of 24. Yeah. So what's this completion percentage? Is that 80%? What is that? 18? Oh, not 15. Come on. 18 out of 24 equals 75%. That's a really dang good number. Obviously, you've got the interception. You mentioned that. You've got really the fourth quarter fumble I'm mad about. I'm not really as upset about the Caden Proctor.
That was not really his fault.
Right. You got hammered. Okay. You're 18 of 24 for 256. And you take 17 carries for 104 yards and 3 touchdowns. So you still score 3 touchdowns. Your first drive fumble, your first drive turnover is not on you, it's on Ryan Williams.
And they were moving the ball well.
You're moving the football, right. You're on the 15-yard line when that play occurs. Let's see where that was. Yeah, you're on in the first quarter. Ryan Williams fumbles at return 8 yards to the Alabama 42. So that's at the 35-ish or so, returned 8 yards. That's really not his fault. I hate to be talking like, oh, this and that is not his fault. I mean, you did what you.
He played a fine game.
Right.
He played efficiently. He was efficient on the ground. He was efficient through the air. Yes, he had a couple bad turnovers, but he made up for the turnovers. It's not like he had bad turnovers and then continued to play bad. He had a turnover and then went out and scored the next drive. So it's okay. I think. You make up for it.
I really like, you look through the box score, it was kind of hard to notice through the game, but, Nick Sheridan giving the ball 28 times to our boy Jam Miller. That's exactly what we have been talking about throughout the season. And look, if you're struggling to find playmakers, you have two in the backfield. And I know that Justice, a little dinged up or whatever, Jam's got great vision, runs hard. Sure, it's 84 yards, but it's 3 yards a carry. It keeps you on schedule. Yeah, you get the 14-yard as his long, keeps you on pace and ahead of the chains. Now, look, Alabama, yeah, this is what I want to see right here. Alabama, really, Mason, you go back to Friday and we said, I said, I'll have the same 3 keys to the game going into this. They really gave me a big old middle finger because, let's see, they're down in distance. Alabama's they went 16 third down attempts, 12 of 6 or 12 of 18, 18 third down attempts. Let's do a little quick math on this show here as we pull up our calculator, because this is going to be a big old middle finger to Joe saying you got to stay in third and short. 8 plus 8 plus 10. Oh, here we go. Plus 2. Here we go. Plus 5. We like that. Here we go. Plus 10. Plus 13. Plus 5, plus 1. Oh, yeah, we like it. Plus 2, we like it. Plus 3, we like it. Plus 1, plus 7, plus
all of these third and longs is like exactly why this game kind of felt so weird. Yes, the score was 28-14, but then you look at this and it's like, well, why was Alabama in third and long this much? Why were they getting off schedule on offense so much? It's like, they made you forget about the ugliness by scoring 28 points and, getting Jalen Milroe going in the run game sometimes. But here we are,
Okay, so actually their number is better than last week. Last week at Oklahoma, it was like third and 7.7. On the 18th third downs, you got a number for me? I said it's better.
6.5.
Okay, close. 5.94. So, not horrible, but you still have these.
You're averaging in third and manageable, which is better than third and long.
Definitely. You have, how many of these are first downs? Yeah, I like these longer plays that he's finding Jeremy Bernard. Basically, my thought on the middle finger to me is all these pass completions to Jeremy Bernard. Like, yeah, he scores 2 touchdowns on some of these plays. Really 3 of these plays are on third down touchdowns. But he's got Jalen Miller late in the game. This is fourth quarter. Complete 10 yards. To third quarter, actually complete 10 yards to Ryan Williams. Jalen scramble, Jalen complete 10 yards to Jeremy Bernard. So he's finding, some of these third and longs.
Mm-hmm.
It was a weird game for Jalen. It
was strange.
There was a lot of good,
but then there was
these
really bad.
Right. The overthrow interception, it's a miss. It's a negative. Sorry, that's a negative. And then the fourth quarter fumble is a big negative. You're holding the ball out like a freshman, like you're playing against a bunch of fourth graders. I'm sorry. These are SEC athletes. Auburn is still trying to win this game. And you got to give Auburn, despite their game plan, a lot of credit for still trying to win the game the whole time. I thought that from that aspect, all right, so that was one of our keys. Number 2 of our keys was the turnover battle. Win the turnover battle. They absolutely did not. They lost it 4-2. So -2. And then what did they hold Peyton Thorne to? Because Peyton Thorne, right there, Peyton Thorne rushing 10 carries at 442 yards.
If they had given him more options, who knows what he would have done.
Yeah, you give him that 20 carries like Oklahoma did. You might be in business. You might have been mixing it up a little bit more. Jarquez Hunter, only 13 carries as well, 56 yards, but we were really focusing on taking away the changeup. And I think they did pretty decently. I mean, obviously, 4.2 yards a carry is not ideal, but in a lot of these situations, it's like end of the game, we're scrambling. Now, in the first quarter, 1, 2, 3 carries. 3 carries, 5, 10, and no gain. 5, 10, and no gain. In the second quarter, it's 2 carries, 3 yards, and 2 yards. Okay. In the fourth quarter, it's 4 yards, it's 9 yards. In the fourth quarter, it's 8 yards, it's 7 yards. So those are more scrambles in the fourth quarter. So it wasn't a steady diet. It wasn't mixed in, and either Hugh Freeze didn't want to go to it, or Alabama, showed enough through the first little bit of the game that
Yeah, I just wonder what it was. I went back and I watched the first drive for Auburn, and it starts with a open with a pass from Thorne. I think he gets a little pressure, he ends up scrambling for 4 or 5 yards. You turn around, give it to Yarquez Hunter, and he gets stuffed it's right at the line of scrimmage by Tim Keenan. Very similar to the Danny Stutzman, Jalen Milroe play from last week. So I almost wonder if maybe that was kind of the same effect that Oklahoma doing that to Alabama had, where Alabama just set the tone and Auburn thought, okay, maybe it's not going to be as easy as we maybe thought to run the ball. But, I mean, even after that, Hunter still averaged over 4 yards a carry. Peyton Thorne still averaged over 4 yards a carry. So, you were doing things good. I don't understand why Hugh Freeze did not stick with them.
41 passes for Peyton Thorne. I'm sorry, but just as Alabama, 40-something passes, 47 passes at Tennessee is not the recipe. Peyton Thorne, not that guy.
I mean, this is exactly what Alabama wanted him to do.
Yes.
I don't understand.
24-41.
Mind-boggling decision from Hugh Freeze.
Please be just over 50%. That's like 53, 54%. Please, that's fine. Under 70%, that's fine. We'll take that all day. Just 59%. It's right there. Perfect.
I don't know. It just was a bit of a strange game. You clean up the turnovers. I think this is a pretty significant blowout for Alabama. Those turnovers kept Auburn in it. They just didn't really take advantage of any of them when they probably could have.
All right. So as we continue, excuse me. Let's grade ourselves on our 3 players to watch. Let's do that. We're gonna grade ourselves our 3 players to watch. Last week, Mason and I each submitted our 3. We do it each and every week. Before we do that, though, we'll tell you about our friends at Purple Turtle Roofing. They're the most reliable residential roof replacement company in Alabama and Mississippi. Whether it's addressing leaks, storm damage, or general wear and tear, Purple Turtle Roofing is going to be there to deliver exceptional roof repair for your property. Purple Turtle Roofing is the leading expert in local residential roofing solutions, specializing in providing unparalleled service and quality craftsmanship for all your roof replacement needs. Call Dustin Foley and his team today at 877-PT-ROOF-5 for your free roof inspection. That's 877-787-6635 to schedule your appointment, and one of their qualified employees will come check out your roof for free and make sure you're prepared for any and all of life's storms. You can check them out online today at roofturtle.com. All right, so each and every week we pick 3 players to watch, and we did a pretty decent job in the Iron Bowl. Mason, I want you to just start us with your 3 players. You chose Josh Cuevas, you chose Damani Jackson, and you chose I think your best pick was Malachi Moore. So just what do you think about those 3 guys and their performance this weekend?
Yeah, I thought I'll start with the 2 that, we're still okay, but maybe not the most impressive pick, which was Malachi Moore. Josh Cuevas, he had 3 catches on the day. One is, what do he have? 31 yards. So, I think he had a catch on the first drive for a first down, a catch later in the game. So, fine. He was there. He didn't really do a whole lot, but he didn't hurt the team either. So that was fine for him. And then I thought Damani did a fine job keeping Cam Coleman in check. He finished with 7 catches, 78 yards, and a touchdown. The touchdown was on Xavier Brown, for the record. But that's kind of what you expect from those kind of receivers like Cam Coleman. Those wide receiver 1 types. It's kind of, they're going to get theirs as long as they don't beat you. You're okay. And he did not beat Alabama, so I thought I was pretty happy with what Damani did. But Malachi Moore, I mean, you could see it from the first snap. He was emotional. He was here to lay the wood on somebody, and he did. He was awesome. He was flying around. He was making plays, absolutely lighting dudes up. He really felt like he was the leader out there for this defense.
3 pass breakups for Malachi Moore, 4 total tackles, half a tackle for a loss with a quarterback hurry. First off, Kane Womack was a madman, but you're down in the red zone, and I think it was a 4th down, was it not? Give me drives, away drives. Give me, right there. On downs, on the Alabama 19, right. So this is at the end of the first quarter. So let me go to my chart here at the end of the first quarter, right. That's what I want right there. Sorry. Malachi Moore is, on the 4th down. That's what I want right there. Malachi Moore is trying to throw it over the middle to Keandre Landry Smith. Is that right?
Oh,
And he just crushed him. Woo! Just absolutely crushed him down there in the red zone. Like, his presence really allowed Alabama, I thought, to be aggressive,
pin their ears back and just
right,
go get the quarterback,
because he was all over. I'm gonna bet if it comes close to me, you're gonna pay for it. If you want to tackle, if you want to make this catch, you're gonna get tackled. You're gonna get tackled hard.
Yeah, he was awesome.
He was just really impressive. Did you see his tweet after the game?
I did not.
After this game, I think he said, "I'm gonna bark real loud, or gonna be barking loud after this one, or gonna be real loud after this one." He said 5, but whatever. I just paraphrased the front part of it, but the last part of it was 5-0 against little brother.
I love it. DeMarcus Riddick, I thought you were never going to lose to a rival. What happened, my friend?
Oh man, okay. The first touchdown of the game, he said, "We're not going to let Jalen Milroe get outside of us, and we're not going, and he's not faster than me."
That was a poor choice of words, my friend.
Both
of those things happened on one play.
Right. You get outside, and it's just a race to the edge, and DeMarcus Riddick, but he's chasing. I mean, good chase, buddy. But before is gone. It just made yourself look like a fool. Like,
what do you think his Twitter DMs looked like after that game? I bet it was awful.
Well, his grandmother is loud on Twitter.
Oh, is she?
She has been loud defending her grandson, which of course she should be.
Yes.
But really, you Alabama people don't understand this and that. And I was like, well, lady, like, you set yourself up.
Yeah.
Because she tweeted pictures of DeMarcus Riddick and Jalen Milroe from DeMarcus Riddick's recruiting visits, like all buddied up. Like, she said, he doesn't. He lied about not knowing who he is. And it's like, I don't really think that's what he was trying to get across.
Yeah, that's.
And
I mean, honestly, that conversation goes, "Hey, Jalen, we need you to come down here and take a picture with some recruits." And he says, "All right, I'll be up there in a minute."
Exactly. And I'm sure he met him and remembers it vaguely, but like,
he knows him as
I took a photo with him. Oh yeah, that guy. He came on a visit.
Yeah.
We I said, "Hey, how you doing?" I was nice to him, that sort of thing. Just a bad look all around.
Really
the
bad.
Auburn people barking, the players barking.
What about Hugh Freeze throwing Jarquez Hunter under the bus? First chance he got in the press conference. They got asked about the play. Jarquez Hunter throws the interception on the double pass to Bray Hubbard. And Hugh Freeze just immediately, he should have turned around and thrown it back to Peyton there. Maybe you shouldn't have called that play there, Hugh. I mean, come on. What was that? It was somebody put together a thread on Twitter of like the plays like that from various Iron Bowls. It feels like it's the last few years there's been one where it's just a absolutely mind-boggling play call that does not go their way. And this was that. And yeah, Hugh Freeze, rather than, we're Jarquez did all he could there on that play. He's just trying to make something happen. No, Jarquez should have turned around and thrown it back to Peyton Thorne. Your senior running back that has been the heartbeat of your program for the last 3 or 4 years. That's crazy.
The whole Auburn approach just didn't make any sense to me.
Oh man,
like, it really didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, who was it on defense? Keldrick Falk. He was giving Alabama hell. I mean, he was in the backfield a pretty decent
36,
amount.
is that right?
I want to say he was 15 defensive end. He had like 2 tackles for loss.
15. Yeah, 6 total tackles, 3 solo, 2 tackles for loss.
He was getting active back there.
He was the forced fumble.
The
hacked on Jalen Milroe.
But then it's like there were a few times where it's like, okay, this is a spot where Auburn could really need a defensive play, and then like I didn't even see the guy out there sometimes. It's like, what were they doing?
That was so mind blowing. Like we had to throw it to Cam Coleman. Like, yeah, Cam Coleman, they're good players, but 41 passing attempts.
Yeah,
you didn't take any pages away from like trying to suck the life out of the game, like Oklahoma and like Vanderbilt did. Like instead, you thought we're more like Tennessee. We're more like Tennessee, and we can race them down the field. And our defense, like maybe you want to be more like Tennessee, but embrace who you are. Like Oklahoma 2 weeks ago, they said, okay, we're having a real bad season. We need to embrace, What's the mediocre team that beat Alabama? That's the game plan we need to copy. Oh, we can copy that game plan. Like,
it's just very strange. I wonder if it is a Hugh Freeze like ego thing where he thought, I'm gonna outsmart everybody, and I'm not gonna do what they think I'm gonna do. I'm smarter than that. I'm gonna figure this out. And then I'm gonna look like a
shovel
genius.
passes, not a single one.
But I don't know. It was, watching the game, I just kept thinking like, surely this is not what they came up with through the whole week of preparation. But evidently that was what they came up with. And 28-14 was your result in a game where Alabama turned the ball over 4 times. You still only managed to score 14 points.
There's extremely
Not
confusing. Now, I mean, Alabama on the other side, defensively, Kane Womack had these guys up on the line of scrimmage all day long. It was, we're showing 7, and maybe we're dropping into coverage, or maybe we're bringing all 7 pretty much throughout the day. And it was impressive how much he mixed it up in the fact that, okay, Peyton Thorne's really kind of guessing here. One of these plays, one of the plays that superseded one of the Auburn field goals. You were up in showing 7, showing pressure. Peyton Thorne audibles into a blitz, and you stay in the look. And instead of blitzing, you drop out. He audibles a screen. He audibles a screen, and basically because you dropped out of your look, it was an easy. Everybody rallies to the screen and tackles because nobody's actually coming. It was really.
Yeah, I don't know how you go against that as an offense.
I think King Womack is a really, really strong defensive play caller.
I think so too. And I really love that.
I think when you get these I think you've got really, really talented players here already on the team, but when you get more players that are more specifically suited to his style, if you can keep that guy, you'll be happy. I think if you're a lover of defense, so I really appreciated what he did, but I also just condemn you, Hugh Freeze, for your approach. I mean, just absolutely silly to not try to do some of the things that have given Alabama trouble throughout the season.
Yeah, it's very, very weird. Like we said, you saw them have success with those things at points in this game and then just not go back to them. It is completely, I have no explanation for why they made the decisions that they did, other than that's just Auburn, baby.
Wiggle, Ward Ham Eagle, I guess. Oh, so you're 9-3. Season's over. You won the Iron Bowl.
There's a chance.
You prevented Auburn from going to the bowl game. Obviously, that was probably a big deal to some. But you're sitting here. Season's over. It's going to be Georgia and Texas in the SEC championship game. You're going to be watching championship weekend. The AP poll and the coaches poll both moved you up to 11, from 13 to 11. Tomorrow night, you will find out where the college football playoff poll has you. Miami lost this past week to Syracuse.
Ugly game.
And so really it's going to come down to Miami, SMU, Alabama, South Carolina, Ole Miss. Mason, I don't have a whole lot of energy in. I don't have a whole lot of energy to defend the Crimson Tide's case to go to the college football playoff. Right where I am is like, okay, you get what you get and you don't pitch a fit. You lost at Oklahoma with everything on the line, a game you absolutely shouldn't have lost. You put on a horrific performance. And so at this point, you just let the cards fall where they may. If the playoff committee picks you for 11, 12, whatever the case may be, 10, you take it happily. But if they throw you to the Citrus Bowl at 13, 14, 15, then you say, well, buddy, we only have ourselves to blame. I don't really have a lot of energy saying Alabama should be in.
Yeah, I'm not going to go out the way of Lane Kiffin. I don't know if you've seen Lane Kiffin's Twitter feed.
Good for him.
24 hours. He's going out sad.
Well,
Lane's going out sad.
Is it, or is this his only play? Because their games are over.
Yeah.
I just don't. He's not in a program like he mentioned, the branding.
Yeah, sure.
He's not in a program that has the brand power over Alabama. He's got to politic a little.
He's like taking shots at an adjacent program. He's not taking shots at, we should be in over Alabama. He's like, South Carolina, we should be in over them. It's like, y'all are the same. They're right there beside each other.
Didn't they beat South Carolina?
Yeah, but I mean,
they should be in over South Carolina.
Sure. Yeah.
South Carolina's record, South Carolina
9-3.
lost to Alabama and to Ole Miss.
Lost to Ole Miss, Bama, and who was a third?
Kentucky, right?
Is that right? No, Ole Miss lost to Kentucky.
Yeah, I think South Carolina lost to Kentucky early in the season as well.
I mean, it's not a bad resume. I don't know.
No, it's LSU. No, they beat the brakes off it. Yeah, it was LSU. LSU at home. Excuse me. Yeah, LSU at home, Ole Miss, Alabama.
I understand you have a head-to-head win, but if we're talking if we're doing resume talk, you lost to Kentucky. You lost to what is it?
They lost to Florida as well.
Florida. I don't know, Lane. If I was Lane Kiffin, I would not be going on a Twitter tirade of, well, this is why my team that has 3 losses deserves to be in over this other team that has 3 losses. I would shut my mouth, and I'd just hope that it works out.
His tweet was pretty spot on. Let's look at this. I mean, none of this is not true.
Did you see the one he posted the
note here?
Peaks dunking the turnover ball into the South Carolina hoop.
He's talking about the 3 teams on the bubble: Ole Miss, Alabama, and South Carolina. South Carolina lost to both of them, and their best win is against Clemson. Ole Miss and Alabama's best win is against Georgia. Georgia beat Clemson 34-3. Safe to say that South Carolina is out, and it's between Ole Miss and Alabama. I mean, come on.
I don't disagree with everything he's saying, but you're the head coach. Let the fans do this. That's my stance. You're going out sad here.
Versus what? Be silent?
Yes. Sit there and be silent. You shouldn't have lost 3 damn games, Lane. You shouldn't have lost to Kentucky. You shouldn't have lost to whoever else you lost to. Like
silently letting the Alabama brand just edge you out.
Sorry, buddy. Tough crap. You shouldn't have lost to Kentucky. I don't know what to tell you. This is your own fault, Lane.
Well, Alabama, you shouldn't have lost to Oklahoma.
You, Lane Kiffin. You had the easiest schedule in front of you that you could have, and you blew it. This is your fault. You're going out sad, and I hate it. I love Lane Kiffin, but he is going out like a crybaby.
Well, I mean, you shouldn't have lost Oklahoma. You opened the door for everybody.
But Kalen DeBoer is not on Twitter clamoring, Alabama's better than South Carolina because this, and that. That's the difference here. Well, Lane Kiffin is going out sad like a crybaby loser, and Kalen DeBoer is biting his tongue and saying, it is what it is.
Well, let's talk about this factor. After the game, he's asked about Kalen DeBoer, that is, asked about his college football playoff pitch, and he says, incorrectly, we've won 5 of the last 6. No, you've won 4 of the last 5, I believe is what it is. He makes a nice little pitch about strength of schedule and ranked wins, or the most ranked wins, that sort of thing. Great. But then all the players come into the media room, and you get the team leaders. You can see it on the Bama Central YouTube channel right now. You get the team leaders. You get Tyler Booker. You get did we get Booker? Yeah. No, I think we did get Booker. We definitely got we got Jam, we got Jeremy, we got Jalen Milroe, we got Damani Jackson, we got Bray Hubbard. I don't know if we got Tyler or not. No, we didn't. We didn't get Tyler. We got those 5 at least. And every single one of them, what's your pitch to the college football playoff? Or do you think you should belong in the playoff? I mean, they all. Well, we'll see. Well,
I wish every one of them had gone out there and said no. That's what I'd have told them to do if I was Kalen DeBoer. I would have said, if they ask you about the playoff, you tell them you don't deserve to go.
What?
It's beautiful. You know how much people would love that. Oh, it's a little self-real. Look in the mirror. Look in the mirror. Oh, we don't deserve to go. Oh, it's beautiful. The media would eat that up.
Of course they would, but then what's the college football playoff committee supposed to do? Just leave you out?
Put you in. It doesn't matter. You're Alabama. They're still gonna throw them in there.
Brand power. Yeah. Can't mess with the A.
That would have been the play for me. Tell your players to go out there. Don't make these. Don't sit there. Well, we'll see what happens. Oh, hopefully we get it. No, we lost 3 games. I don't really think we deserve to get in. That would have been the power move right there.
I mean, you'd have yourself a story for sure.
That's your media darling right there. Everybody flip-flops on Alabama. It goes from, we don't want Alabama to, look at Alabama. Oh, look at their players. So look at the humility. Humble. So look at how humble they are. Put them in.
How hungry they are.
Yeah, that's it.
Flips
it on its head. That would have been amazing. But no, you're going out sad, Lane. These are, I don't know. If you get asked directly, it's one thing. If you go onto Twitter and onto his radio show earlier this week and talk about, well, Miami doesn't deserve to be in,
They don't.
Miami beat Florida, who beat you, Lane.
I don't think the transitive property applies in college football. Do you?
No, but what else are you going to hang your hat on, Lane? I mean, we got to have some metric to measure by. And when both teams played the same team and one lost and one won, I don't know. I would be disgusted if I saw Kalen DeBoer doing this for Alabama right now.
For Alabama,
I was disgusted when I saw Nick Saban doing it on national television every year.
Oh yeah, well Vegas would have Alabama.
I was disgusted by that. I hated it
because the Vegas metric doesn't matter.
Such a bad look. It's just a horrible look for your team, for your coach to go down on Twitter. Well, we should be in the playoff. It's just sad.
I think
eat your L, accept what you made your bed. Now lie in it, Lane.
You're fighting for your team.
No.
He's fighting for your team. He's recruiting. He's actively recruiting.
You should have been recruiting 6 weeks ago on the field against Kentucky.
That's true. That loss is Kentucky.
Atrocious.
Kentucky has been living at 15 in my power rankings for the in the SEC for the last 5-6 weeks or so. It's been Kentucky, Mississippi State.
You get no sympathy from me. You lost Kentucky. If you hadn't lost Kentucky, you'd get a lot of sympathy
at home,
me, but you don't.
And you lost to Kentucky at home. That's a real people. I get a lot of people throwing the Vanderbilt loss. I'm like, oh, Alabama, Joe, how can you defend? I'm like, dude, you didn't lose to Kentucky at home.
Yeah, man.
Like that's really bad.
Yeah, you don't come back from that one.
But the issue is, Mason, like you have a huge bubble here at 11, 12, 13 with a lot of teams. And so, like, you got to do a little politicking. I have no issue with it. I think it's great. I want my coach to be if I'm Kalen DeBoer.
I want Kalen DeBoer to shut his damn mouth. I want Kalen DeBoer to have won 11 games this season, not have this be an issue.
10 at least.
Yeah.
At Oklahoma, like the Oklahoma loss is the Oklahoma performance, it still offends me to think about how poor they played.
Even that's not nearly as bad as losing to Kentucky at home.
Yeah, I agree.
Not even close. The apples and oranges.
People are like, Joe, you got people are talking about the unranked losses at Vanderbilt, at Oklahoma, and it's like, well, and they're like the extra loss. They lost 3 games. I'm like, well, you lost at Tennessee. Okay, that's a top 10 loss. You don't even have Miami. You don't even have a top 10 win or a game on your Syracuse just got ranked. Syracuse got ranked this week, like 23, 21, 20, 22. Something
probably, if we're being honest, to pump that game up a little bit, maybe.
Right, and you could who says they're going to be ranked next week when it's all over? Like, obviously, conference champion, most of it's already over, but I don't know. I think you have to incentivize tough scheduling. Let's move into a different part. Let's say Alabama gets in. You're in. You're in. Andy Staples has Alabama in as an 11 seed, going to Notre Dame as a 6 seed, and the winner playing 3 seed SMU, playing the 3 seed ACC champion SMU. First.
I hate that matchup so much for Alabama.
Notre Dame?
Oh, I hate it so much.
Yes.
I hate it so much. Oh.
Yeah, yes. 1,000% yes. Because you look at it on paper and you think, oh, Alabama, you should beat the brakes off of Notre Dame. You're going to take them apart. But Notre Dame is like Vanderbilt on steroids. That's like that is like super Vanderbilt.
that is the perfect way to describe the way that they play football this year. They just body people. It's like turn around, give the ball to Jeremiah Love. All right, 7 yards. Turn around, give the ball. I can't remember the other running back's name now. I'm blanking on his name, but turn around, give it to him, 7 yards. They don't ask Riley Leonard to do a whole lot there. That matchup that is matchup hell for this Alabama team. Anybody that has not watched Notre Dame this season, I urge you.
Oh my God!
I urge you to
this is disgusting.
Please check out the Fighting Irish and then reassess how you feel about a potential matchup with the Crimson Tide in round 1 of the college football playoff.
Jeremiah Love, 134 attempts this year for 949 yards and 15 touchdowns. Nice, good stop. RB1. Quarterback 1, Riley Leonard, 124 carries, 10 less, just 10 fewer than the starting running back. for 721 yards and 14 touchdowns. Oh, you think you're not going to see quarterback run zone read, quarterback read in the red zone all day long? All right, if that's not enough, Jadarian Price, 89 carries for 651 yards and 7 touchdowns on the ground as
that is
well.
Ground and pound.
If either of those guys get dinged up, and Navius Williams, 26 carries, 174 yards and 2 touchdowns, averaging 6.7 yards a carry. And then lastly, Kedron Young, only four games played, but 21 carries, 116 yards, and 1 touchdown. So it's just coming at you from wherever you want it.
Yeah, that would be a very, 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 very difficult matchup for this Bama team. They have shown us time and time again this season they do not play well against physical teams like that. I mean, even in this Auburn game, like we mentioned many times, Jarquez Hunter, Peyton Thorne both averaged over 4 yards a carry this game.
I don't know why they didn't just
have no reason to believe this wouldn't look any different.
Yeah, because they're not going to ask Riley Leonard to throw the ball 41 times. I say you can put 7 up. We'll figure out a way to block you or try to.
That is not the matchup Alabama wants in the first round. If you're Alabama, I think you much rather play Penn State.
Citrus Bowl.
Much rather.
You want to go to the Citrus Bowl and win. You want to go to the Citrus Bowl, get your 10-win season, and ride into the recruiting and say, you know what, you want to say all off season long, they screwed us. If we'd have been in, we could have won it.
Good point.
You go win the Citrus Bowl against bleeping Iowa or whoever they can against Iowa State, some bad Big 12 team. You go beat their brains in, and you have, oh man, you won the Citrus Bowl 49-14, and
this Alabama team should have been in the playoffs.
Hunky dory recruiting momentum, and you handle the offseason changes that will come, like that are inevitable. I'm not reporting anything, but they're just inevitable. Some people are going to leave, some people are going to stay, and some people are going to come. Like, you're going to have offseason turnover. So, like, do you want to go to the Citrus Bowl and beat a bad Big 12 team, beat a mediocre Big 10 team, beat a mediocre ACC team, or do you want to drive your butt up to South Bend, Indiana, and end your season just getting your face pummeled? Like the Oklahoma, Vanderbilt, Tennessee, just game plan. Do you want that taste in your mouth all off season? Because I'm still offended about I'm still mad about the Oklahoma performance.
Still waking up in cold sweats every night.
Because it's just like, that was horrific to watch, and it's still hard to digest. Well, what's your faith level? And go, like, do you think that you go to South? Okay, maybe you do. All right. Well, then you're playing little SMU, and then you're getting all the, Keelan Russell, blah, 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 blah. Of course, I think Keelan Russell's solid. I'm not trying to say anything like that. I think Keelan Russell's locked in, going to be signing, going to be early enrolling, all that sort of stuff, going to be fully participating in this next quarterback battle.
On campus for that game, potentially, if it were to happen.
Right. Am I soft? Am I SAWFT?
No, I think you are reasonable. I think this is a reasonable take. I think this is a calculated take, given what we have seen from this Alabama football team this year. That is not a matchup that they want. That is,
and if it's not Notre Dame, Indiana's trying the same thing. Penn State's trying the same thing. Ohio State's trying the same thing. Whatever road trip you're going to,
it's gonna be tough. Notre Dame, I think, is the toughest of the 4 potential ones, just because matchup wise, those 2 running backs, and then Riley Leonard obviously can run the ball as well. If I had to pick, I'd probably pick Penn State, I think. But yeah, these all are tough matchups for Alabama. I don't feel great about any of them. I think Penn State I feel the best about, and that's just because I don't believe in James Franklin being able to win a playoff game.
Sure, fair.
It really doesn't have anything to do with Penn State as a team. It has more to do with their coach than anything.
I didn't see anything from Alabama this past weekend that made me think, oh, yeah, everything's fixed. Oh, they got it right. They figured it out. As you said earlier, it was more about Auburn losing the game than anything else. And so with the season being over and playoff picture in or out, blah, 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 I mean, would it be absolutely a fun experience for me to go up there and cover a game? 1,000% it would. And would I enjoy it? 1,000% I would. But if you are an Alabama supporter, I think that if you get that draw look, you're going to have a lot of people that naively say, oh, every year we whoop Notre Dame. The last couple of times we've whooped Notre Dame. Yes, you have. Every time we play a Big Ten school, you whoop them. Okay. A lot of times that happens. I don't know if that recipe holds in this case. And I think you have a potential for an off season of bitterness, an off season of, right now you're 9-3. And you think, good season, first year under Coach DeBoer, all the turnover, all the politicking. Yeah, you won the Iron Bowl. You beat Georgia. You had a good little year. Yeah, you had a couple slip-ups, but, overall, B+, A-. You're feeling pretty good with that report card, especially with the prospects of what you've done on the recruiting trail. You end the year with a bowl game win in the Citrus Bowl. You're probably even A-. You're in that territory and you're feeling okay. We've done a lot of 10-win season, right? I've set the record for most wins as a first-year coach at Alabama. Yeah, he tied Frank Thomas this past week. He could set it with a win in a Citrus Bowl. Or you go up to Notre Dame and you get your brains beat in and you think, wow, y'all don't look prepared. And it's not that they don't look prepared, but they're just not as physical as these other teams. They know it's coming, but they're just running ragged all over the place. And, oh, shoot, you've gotten the box stacked on you and Jalen Milroe can't run. And, oh, touchdown Jesus is all over your face. Is it worth going to playoff and ending the year 9-4? End of the year, of course, there's a possibility of going up there and winning. Of course, you can win another couple, 3 games, 4 games, and heck, shoot, you could turn that A season into an A+ season with a national title. Come on, Joe, where's your competitive bone? You want to go get that thing, don't you? You do, but
it's tough.
What's the cost? What's the risk here? What would play out best for the program under Kalen DeBoer moving forward?
That's a tough call to make. I think that the bump from winning a national title could be, it'd be astronomical.
Yeah, of course.
First year head coach, Bama's not going anywhere. We're here to stay, lock it in, whatever.
That's the biggest prize.
But man, that you talk about losing in the first round of the playoff, the fall off from that, the fallout from that would be catastrophic. I think, I don't think it would be something where you see players start flipping left and right. Everybody's entering the transfer portal, whatever. But just for the morale of the program moving forward, catastrophe. And that's what you kind of have to weigh. I think, maybe you look at that, like you said, you look at that Citrus Bowl win, you look at that 10-3 season, and you say, all right, we'll probably finish. We'll take the smaller win and not have any real chance at a bad loss here.
I'm just. And maybe, hey, Joe, you're SAWFT.
I think we might be a little soft.
You that's a soft approach. You should want to go up to Notre Dame and roll the dice. Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. But you're 1-3 in true SEC road games. I have 0, and you beat what now looks like a mediocre / average LSU team.
Yeah.
I've got no faith in this team going on the road still. And so I'm really wondering what these next 10 days are going to look like, what these next 12 days are going to look like when you see the conference championship games, and then next Sunday, I guess they will decide the brackets. And obviously, it's going to determine what we do as a program or what we do as a podcast. But I don't know. I think that if you're Alabama, you have basically
you've backed yourself in a weird spot here,
right? Well, and because of the results, you can't really argue. You can't really go onto the Twitter machine and say, "Oh, well, Alabama's good wins over Georgia." Yeah, sure, but you lost your chance. You get what you get, and you don't pitch a fit. That's what I would say to any Alabama supporters at this point. If they put you in at 12 and 11, just kind of smile and say, "All right, let's see what happens." But if they end up saying you're out at 13, 14, 15,
just eat that L.
You did it to yourself, and don't go crying about woulda, shoulda, coulda. We're better than the 12th team, whoever it is, whether it's Miami or South Carolina or Ole Miss or whoever the case may be. Just, you did it to yourself.
Yeah, I think that's the perfect attitude to take. I think that's what fans should take, and I think that's also what realistically all the members of the team should take as well. I think coaches included, they should kind of have that attitude looking at this. It's, if we get in, awesome, let's try to go win a game, but we don't deserve to be in there really.
Mason, let's tell them about our friends at Derek Daniel State Farm. We appreciate Derek Daniel for sponsoring the program, allowing us to record each and every day right here off of McFarland Boulevard in Northport, just off Highway 69 North, past the Tiger Rock on the left. He's got his team Red, Reese, and Victoria upstairs in the office. You can call them at 205-758-3391 for all of your insurance needs. Home, life, auto insurance needs. Derek and his team can take care of you today. Get you a quick auto insurance quote. Call them at 205-758-3391. Call and see how much Derek can save you today. Anything else from the Iron Bowl? I got Brian Harsin retweeting transfer portal announcements, wearing a Lank shirt. I don't know if you're able to see that in the mirror. If you're on the Twitter machine, it's out there. Brian Harsin, the former Auburn coach, retweeting Holden Garner. Was that it? I think so. It was one of the Auburn quarterbacks going into the transfer portal. And look, depending on what happens over the next 10 days, that's the next chapter for Alabama. But anything else for you on the Iron Bowl here?
No, I love that Brian Harsin has made it his life's mission to just be a troll for Auburn now. But I don't think
they deserve it.
They do. They deserve everything they got. A weird game for Alabama. I don't feel super great at this team if they go to the playoff. But you know what? I kind of hope they do.
The crying will be immense. The Lane Kiffin crying, the Shane Beamer crying.
He is going to lose it.
Well, Shane, you came to Tuscaloosa and lost. You had a good game, but you lost. You're close, but no cigar. Maybe you can go enjoy the Citrus Bowl.
He's got him a real team on his hands, I think.
Yeah, I think they're building right there.
Lenore Sellers is legit.
So let's flip to Alabama basketball. The Crimson Tide loses the Players Era Festival final 83-81 in Las Vegas to Oregon. Oregon ranked 25th in KenPom. Let's see, their net is 15, I believe is what it is. So it's a quad one loss for Alabama. Alabama's now 6-2 on the season. Really unusual game. Obviously, the biggest story of the game, we'll just start right there. Heartbreaking for Latrell Wrightsell. If you didn't watch the game because you were too tired after the Iron Bowl, maybe you're too drunk, woke up on Sunday, Latrell Wrightsell appears to have injured an ankle, an Achilles, a calf. Don't really want to speculate further than that until we get confirmation, but it did not look good at all in the second half there against the Oregon Ducks. And just first, I'll just tell you, my emotion went to, super sad. But then it's just like, well, what are you going to do for the Crimson Tide?
Yeah, I think they're going to have to rely a lot on the Baron Philon moving forward. I think he's going to have to step up and take an even larger role than he has taken. I think Aiden Holloway is the same. He's going to have to take on a larger role and maybe kind of fit into where Trelly was as the kind of spot-up shooter. I think maybe Holloway potentially has to take that role now. So, going to be a little bit of movement around, I think, for Alabama, the way they do their rotations, obviously having to replace those minutes. But I think they have the talent to fight through it and to be okay, but it's a tough loss.
Huge loss for Alabama. Reportedly going to get Chris Youngblood back this week. Maybe he's going to play against North Carolina. Coach Oates said that is a possibility, but he said it's more likely that he really gets minutes against Creighton December, I think 18, 16, somewhere that next Saturday. And that'll be huge. That will help mitigate the loss of Latrell Wrightsell. And maybe it is just my sentiment. Maybe the talent is deep enough to where it's not going to really you're going to miss his shooting, of course. He's a great shooter, but maybe the team is deep enough to just get by without him. But man, my heart just hurts for him.
Yeah, me too. He's a player I really like. He's a very likable player. You see him in interviews, you see him in press conferences and things. He seems like he's a very great player. Seems like he's a great guy that everybody kind of rallies around. Everybody looks up to a little bit, I think. And it's unfortunate for him. Like we said, we don't want to speculate on the injury, but if it was what it maybe looks to be, he may be out for a long time, and I hate that for him.
So the game, you lose. I mean, Luttrell goes out, and the game was pretty much tied at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And Oregon stretches it, you get back in it. Stretches it, you get back in it. Not a good game really from Mark Sears. 11 points, 1 of 11 from beyond the arc. You shot 12 of 38, so 32% from the 3-point line. You would have liked
Closer to 4
more, a little more right there. If you're going to take 38 3-pointers, I have no issue with that number. You'd just like to have made maybe 15 would have been really nice. 15, 16 would have been great. Obviously, that would have put you over the edge. My biggest issue watching the game, and my biggest issue when I look to the box score, is the pace is still not exactly where you want it to be at 73 possessions apiece. You want it at the 80 mark, but 15 turnovers, just bad. It's just careless with the basketball all throughout the evening.
You nailed it right there. They absolutely were. They were, it was errant passes. It was dribbling loosely with the ball, not paying attention to who's coming around your back to pick you. It seemed like at a lot of moments they just wanted to just play loose on offense and not really focus too hard, not really lock in, just kind of go out there like we're playing pickup and shoot it around a little bit, light, and not really putting a lot of oomph on the passes, just kind of floating balls around. So, yeah, it continues to be an issue for this Alabama basketball team. It has plagued them for, seasons now, the turnover issue, and I just don't know how you fix it. Something has to be done because it is not going to, you're not going to win a national championship turning the ball over 15 times a game. So something has to be addressed. I just don't know how they fix it.
18 fast break points, so that's pretty decent right there. Just
disappointing. It's
I wonder if you're just still like you said, you're 8 games.
Yeah.
I wonder if you're just still working the rotations out and figuring out who's playing with who and how they play together. And how you want to, it was November when this game happened. It's December now. We appreciate everybody listening to us and hanging out with us through the holiday season. But it was November. That's still literally the first quarter of the year. Yeah. Not even quarter. The first little part of the year.
The first net rankings of the year just came out. So we are very early.
I'm not panicking with the team, but I am with you. It seems like it's an attention to detail. Are we locked in all the time? Mm-hmm. Do we want to take every possession seriously or not? Or will we let and maybe look, losing Luttrell really, really stinks, but maybe it'll help a lot. Maybe the rest of the team will rally together and say, hey, we need to lock in now that we're one man fewer, one man less talented.
Yeah, it's just like you said it right there. It's just something. It's a handful of times a game for 3 or 4 minutes at a time. Not even that sometimes. They just decide that we're just going to take it easy for a little bit. Nobody really locks in. You might get 1 or 2 possessions in that stretch where it looks like the Alabama that it looks like the Alabama that they can be, but I don't know. It's very hard. Hopefully this is a bit of a, as negative as it is, hopefully it can maybe galvanize the team and get them to play together a little bit, maybe rally behind each other.
Alabama next up at North Carolina in Chapel Hill on Wednesday. It's in 2 days. Let's see. North Carolina, you beat a couple. You lost to UConn, which that looks like kind of not as good of a loss. Now you won the battle for Atlantis. Great.
A little bit the last few.
Oh, shoot. I am in the wrong. Maybe want men's basketball, not women's. Excuse me. That was all women's basketball. Excuse me. That was wrong. Men's basketball lost to Kansas. That was a really great game. I do remember that. Men's basketball beat Dayton, lost to Auburn, and lost to Michigan State at the Maui Invitational. Now we're on the right track. So they're kind of on a little bit of a reeling. I wish I would have seen that Auburn North Carolina game. I guess that was last Tuesday.
It's a pretty good game.
You excited about going to Chapel Hill?
Yeah. Yes. From a just pure fan standpoint, I'm stoked to see Alabama play there. I think that's awesome. I hope that they can clean up the turnovers though, because I don't want to go up there and lose.
What's wrong with Mark Sears, man?
I don't know. He's just in a bit of a slump. It seems like I don't know what's going on. know if it's, and this is just speculating. I don't know anything. I don't have any insider information. I don't know if it's maybe he feels like he's getting pushed out a bit and he's struggling. I don't think that's what it is. But I don't know. Something is strange. Maybe it's just a slump. It's early season. It just kind of is what it is. But
I'll go flip side. Maybe I believe maybe he's struggling with not being the man, not that aspect of it, but having the responsibility of making everything work together. Not in the sense that he's a bad point guard, not that at all, but in the sense that, oh, there's a lot of new pieces. I'm the leader, and I've got to figure out how LeBaron works, and I've got to figure out how Aiden works, and how, Chris Youngblood when he comes back, and how Jaren Stevens, how all the pieces work together, and I've got to figure out what's the best way to pull all these strings. I think maybe that part of the pressure is taking him out of his own offensive game. Just a little bit.
Certainly
just
possible.
A little bit. I've got to be the orchestrator, and there's a lot of talent on the court, but there's still a lot of new talent and a lot of talent I haven't worked quite with extensively. Yeah. So I've got to kind of work through, do I throw this lob past to Cliff Amore here, or do I kick it out to LeBaron Philon there? I think there might be a little of that. Or do I work to get my own shot? Do I work to get my own shot, my own look? And if I do, what does that do to these other new pieces that I'm still trying to get to know? Yeah. That's my theory.
I could see that. I mean, that's certain. That's a lot on his plate, and he is that player for this team. There's not really any ifs, ands, or buts about it. He is that guy. He is the engine that makes this team go. I could certainly see that being a something because last year, I think they kind of maybe wanted him to be that at times, and he wasn't really able to. And then now it's like, we really need you to do this year. And he's gotten better, but yeah, I think I could maybe see that being part of why he's struggling a little bit.
So Alabama basketball 6-2 through this November stretch, the 7-game stretch. Well, now it's an 8-game stretch because you qualified for that Players Era Festival final. You are what? 1-1, 2-1, 3-1, 3-2. 3-2. You've got 2 more games left. That's 6, 7, 8. Yeah, you got 2 more games left. North Carolina and Creighton. 5-2 through that. Oh man, it was an 8-game stretch. I guess they did plan on winning. Oh no, you were guaranteed 3 games, but you were either playing a 3rd place game or a 5th place game or a 7th, whatever the case may be. So it was 7 games already. I thought they silly me. 3-2. How you feel? 2 more games left. You split them. Let's just say worst case scenario, you go 0-2. You're 3-4.
Don't feel great about 3-4. Feel okay about 4-3. Feel really, really good about 5-2.
No, I mean, think about what you did last year. You lost 3 games in a row in this scenario. So you're doing just fine.
Yeah, I think this team is okay. It's definitely not time for the panic button. If we're sitting here at the end of December and we're still talking about turnover issues, maybe we start to reach into the panic box a little bit, but it's still early.
Going to be very, very curious to see what the official diagnosis is for Latrell Wright. So going to be praying for him, obviously. I think that if you watch the injury, if you read about it on Bama Central, you could tell that it looks like it's going to be a serious injury. So we hope that he has an efficient recovery, a good recovery right there. Mason, let's get out of here for the day. Tomorrow we will focus, I guess, a little more on these college football playoff rankings. We'll talk about the team, their performance a little bit more, maybe some ins and outs. It's time to start speculating who's going to be putting their name in the transfer portal, because that's going to be happening very, very soon. You're seeing, look, Georgia's Julian Humphrey already puts the name in the portal. You guys are in the SEC championship this week. I don't know if that is a good look, but that will just tell you where you are in college football. And for the Alabama perspective.
Oh, wow. Speaking of transfer portal, Miller Moss from USC transfer portal. Just interesting, just seeing them dominoes fall.
And so Alabama's first domino will fall pretty soon. First off-season domino. You've already had Jaheim Otis and Keanu Coote go into the transfer portal. We'll see who else joins those guys in the next 7 to 10 days. We'll be all over it right here on the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral.com. We appreciate everybody watching us. We went a little longer today because of basketball, and that's A-OK. I hope you enjoyed the Iron Bowl. Sorry, look, we didn't get deep into the ins and outs of the Iron Bowl because I think it was a meh performance. I thought Alabama played B+. I mean, as a whole, real good defense, really strong defense, and fine offense. Obviously, really good on third down, but the turnover issues were not good. And Ryan Williams, probably his worst game of his college career. You have the fumble, you have the drop touchdown that would have made Jalen Milroe's numbers look even better. Just
skyrocketed his confidence.
Just a weird game for the Alabama team, but you got the win, and that's all that matters. You finished 9-3, and you're waiting to see what the College Football Playoff Committee will do with you tomorrow night. For Mason Woods, you follow him at MAWoods_ on the Twitter machine. He is writing all things recruiting for the Walsh Writing Network. You can follow him right there at MAWoods_ and right here on the Joe Gaither Show. I'm Joe Gaither. You follow me at Joe Gaither6, and we will talk to you tomorrow right here on Bama Central and BamaCentral.com.
Thanks for joining us on today's edition of the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central. Keep up with Joe on all his social media pages at Joe Gaither6. Subscribe, rate, and review the show on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and be sure to read us daily at BamaCentral.com.